Hello and welcome to yet another little recent pickups video. Today I'm gonna be showing off the games and movies I got through March and April. And again, I went a little movie heavy these past couple of months, and I did buy quite a lot of games, but because of the whole threat with the PS3 and PS Vita store closing down, I did buy a ton of games digitally, so that's where most of my gaming budget went. And yeah, I'm not really gonna, I'm only gonna show off games that I bought physically, and I might talk a little about some of the games I bought digitally, because I feel like this video is more to show what I'm adding to my collection rather than what I'm just buying digitally. I don't know. If you're interested, just ask me. If not, I'm just gonna talk a little about some of the games I bought, but mostly about the physical stuff. So yeah, I have a small pile of games, and today I'm drinking another Fynsk 4, which is a lovely fresh beer. I'm wishing for some spring today. I mean, fall means spring, if I didn't make that clear. And it's a very dark and dreary day. It's raining a bit, so you can hear like that in the background. I'm sorry about that, but hey, what can you do? So yeah, let's have a sip. And just start off by going through some of the games. First game is a game I found in like we have this store, I think they are all over the world, but let me just try and explain. It's kind of like a flea market store where people rent a stand inside a store and they can sell from there, like without being there. They just rent the stand, and the people taking care of the store will take care and look after your stand and whatnot and sell from there. And I did buy a couple of games from there. One of the games I bought was Gravity Rush Remastered for the PS4. This was a game originally released for PS Vita. I think only for PS Vita. I haven't really played it. It's one of those games that came with my PS Vita back when I bought it, and it looks really interesting. It's one of those games I've been meaning to play a lot, and it's good enough to get both a remaster and a sequel. So yeah, I don't know why I haven't gotten around to play this yet. I am really meaning to do that, but now I have the PS4 version to do that with. Another one is a game you saw me play on my channel, and it is the Doom 3 VR edition. Or maybe you watched it on my channel. You might only watch my pickups or unboxings. I don't know. It's fair. Watch whatever you want to watch, dude. And yeah, if you watched the video, you probably know that this game made me sick to my stomach. I played a little of it since, and it wasn't that bad. But I think it's something to do with both like it being hot that day, and I haven't really. I was playing on empty or full stomach, I can't remember what it was. But usually this is the first VR game I ever played that made me feel sick. Usually I got like an iron stomach, I don't know what to say that, but I don't get motion sick. I don't really ever felt queasy, not squeezy. I kept saying squeezy in this video when I recorded that, but it's queasy, it's called, with a Q. And I never really been queasy from playing a video game, and this was my first time like where I was hit really bad with that, so that's something. But I'm not too sure if it was because of me or if it's because the game is like just poorly optimized for VR. Who knows? Some probably do. And another one is a PS2 game, PacMan World 2. I did buy this, but I'm actually not sure if I already owned this. Like, that's the problem when you're like a collector and you have a ton of games. You need to like make a list, and I'm also planning to make a list sometime in the near future. And PacMan World, I own the first one, and it's a lovely little platformer sort of games, and I play a little bit of the third one. I own that for Xbox, and that seems like a really fun game. And yeah, people say the second PacMan World game should be the best, so I'm very excited to play this one. Next up is a GameCube game. I mean, I swear, my GameCube is gathering dust. I don't really buy or play a whole lot of games for that thing. But anyways, here's one. Bloody Raw Primal Fury. And it's a Bloody Raw game. If you know those, they're kind of like Tekken games. Like 2D fighting games, where I guess you can move around 3D. I don't know. It's a fighting game, similar to Tekken, and in this case you can turn into like animal-human hybrid thing, which are really cool. It's a franchise that has like several installments in it, and now I have this one. Another game is like another one of those games I just picked up because it looked weird. And I was actually ready to just put this in on a Bad Game Monday just based off the cover alone. And it is what's it called? Counter-Terrorist Special Forces Fire for Effect. I was so close to just start this game off, not having played any of it, and put it in a Bad Game Monday. But surprisingly enough, it's not bad. It's not great. I played like a little under an hour of it, but the gameplay is decent, and I could imagine that it got better or maybe evolved into something interesting. I would say the title and the cover just didn't really put a lot of confidence in that part. I was actually hoping for this to be a Bad Game Monday, but you get surprised every day apparently. Not that bad. Another game I bought, and yeah, I haven't played this one yet. It's the Duel Masters for PS2. This was like an card game, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And it also had its own anime. I think I watched that as a child. I also seem to remember that some of the other kids were into this. I was mostly a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid. I loved them damn Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And I haven't played this game yet. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad. But yeah, it looks interesting, and it was like really cheap. 20 kronos, what is that in US dollars? That's like less than $4 things. It's around $3, I think, maybe. And a couple of new games I bought. I bought for my PS5 Returnal, and I even did a little stream of this. And what can I say about this game? I bought this. I'll be honest, I wasn't really that into this game. I'm not really into roguelike games, but it's been so long since there's been something to play on my PS5. I just bought it to have something to play on my PS5. And yeah, it's a fine game. Don't get me wrong. But then again, I'm not into roguelike, so how can I say this? I feel like some of the problems I have with this is the fact that you know how in roguelike you often die again and again, but in good roguelikes, in my opinion, you gain a little bit from every time you die, like either some experience, or you get to keep one weapon you found, or just something to like to make the next run a little easier. And I feel like I had several runs in this game that have no meaningful impact on my my further playing, except for the experience you gain, which yeah, I guess that's fine. But I don't want to play games to get good. I want to play games to have fun. And yeah, I hate to play games where I feel like I spend like 20-30 minutes or more and then just die and I didn't gain anything except for like experience, personal experience, and not some experience in the game that can help me in any way. And yeah, I guess again, I'm not roguelike fan, so that's the problem. I also have a little gripe with some of the death pits, or not death pits. There are some pits in the game where you can fall down and lose some health, and they're not death pits. You don't die from it, which I would have gotten really angry if that was the case, because some of those are like really annoying. The game is dark and there's like this fog just covering around the ground, and some of these just you just fall in them. And it's a fast-paced action shooter game, and we're just moving around dodging enemies and trying to hit them. You're bound to fall into some of those gaps, and it feels so cheap. I mean, in games like Doom Eternal, like for example, there are also some traps where you can fall down and lose some health in some lava or some bullshit like that. And I know they are very obvious to see, so I always feel like it's my own fault. Here, sometimes I feel like it's the game just not showing me the level proper. To like you always want to feel like it's your own fault when you fall into a pit. You don't want to feel like the game is making it hard to avoid the pits, and sometimes these games make me feel that. Another game I bought for the PS5 is Terminator Resistance Enhanced. I actually bought the collector's edition of this, and I did a very short unboxing. It's a small collector's edition with a steel case and a comic book, so it's not super impressive, but it was like only a little more expensive than the base game, so why not? And this game looks fantastic on the PS5. I really enjoy this. I can turn the film grain off. Fuck you. I hate film grain in video games. Like, and some movies it's just too much. But yeah, I really enjoy this. It's a first-person shooter, and it's not an amazing game, and it doesn't need to. Not like, I remember when this was released, there was this whole thing about people talking about like, not every game needs to be amazing, and I feel like that. Like, some games, it's fine if they're just good or alright. They don't need to be amazing. They don't need to break your mind or anything. And I think this falls well into that category. It's just good fun. Next up is a game I have like have mixed feelings about this game. And it is NieR Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... And this is a remaster of one of my favorite games of all time. And there are two versions of that game. There's a version where you play as a young teen boy, and a version where you play as this old, more gruff-looking man. And I played the version where you play as the man, the adult man, where you're trying to save your daughter. And the remaster is of that game where you play as a teen boy who's trying to save his sister. And I just, like, I want to love this because it's the same gameplay, but when I look at the character, whenever he interacts with anyone, I want to take this out and just put in the version with the old man. Why couldn't they remaster that one? I just prefer that a lot. Again, I haven't played too much of this because every time I play it, I just want to take it out and start playing the version that I played with the old man. But it's an awesome game. If you've not played NieR, play NieR. They are really fucking awesome. Like, I would put it in my top 20 games of all time. I know I said that about like 40 games, but still, this is definitely my top 20. Like the one that I played, not this one, not this one in particular. Also bought like 1 or 2 PS1 games, and first one is Medieval 2. Like, it's a pretty crappy condition, but it's a game that I don't see that often, and it wasn't super expensive, so I'm happy to have it. I haven't never played it. I played some of Medieval 1. I've never beaten Medieval, but yeah, now I have the second one. Next one is another PS1 game, also in really bad condition, but it was cheap again, and it is Bloody Roar 2, another Bloody Roar game. And as I said, it's kind of like a fighting game with like Tekken, but where you play like characters that could turn into these animal-human hybrids, and it's the same with the second one. And a Nintendo 3DS game. I don't really buy a lot of 3DS games lately, and this one is Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past. I am a huge Dragon Quest fan. I already own Dragon Quest VII for PS1. I haven't played it yet, and now I have it for Nintendo 3DS. And I'm really excited. I think the thing that has kept me from playing this game is that I heard it should be the longest Dragon Quest game to beat. I think it's like, some people have said it's like 200, 300 hours to beat the game, and that seems like a task. Something I should have done while I was unemployed. That's not something I can, but you probably get away like later. I think just in life, the older you get, you just have more and more responsibilities. And I don't even have kids. If I got kids, I would probably never ever have time to play something like Dragon Quest VII. But it's a Dragon Quest game. It's awesome, and yeah, I can't wait to dive into this one day, hopefully, and just play it all through. Also did buy a couple of wireless controller, one for the Nintendo 64 and one for the GameCube. And yeah, I bought these from a retro site, and I will say I have like some mixed opinion about this. The the Nintendo 64 controller, I really like the more modern layout of the buttons. It's really awesome. It also feels solid, and it has an internal battery, so you don't have to like plug in new batteries and buy them all the time when you run out of power. Like, there's nothing worse than being trapped with a wireless controller and have forgotten to buy batteries. And yeah, it's a fine controller. I like it. It doesn't have any rumble in it, which I was a little disappointed. I thought it was gonna have rumble, and it's something that Hyperkin made. Hyperkin, I mean, they have very good intentions, but I feel like they made like very mixed quality stuff. But I do like the controller at least. And the next one, I cannot remember what brand it was. It's like one of those weird off brands, I guess. And this one has rumble. It feels a lot cheaper to hold in your hands, a lot light, even when the batteries are in. But it works fine, no problem at all. And it's wireless, so I can sit far away and play my GameCube games. And yeah, it's fine. And it has some rumble in it. It's not an amazing rumble, but it's there. And now I'm just gonna talk briefly about some of those games I bought digitally. And yeah, I'm not gonna go through them all. I'm just gonna go through some of those that I like the most, or most willing to talk about. So yeah, first of all, I bought Luna Silver Star Harmony for the PSP. Like, does this franchise Luna RPG? It's not that well known, but there's a couple of entries on the PS1 that I really want to buy, but they're really expensive. And there's also one for the PSP, which is also really expensive, but that one you can buy digitally on the PS Vita store. And yeah, I bought that one. I played like little of it, like less than an hour, and it seems fun, like a fun JRPG. I also bought Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita, another first-person shooter for the handheld. I was a little disappointed you couldn't play it on the PS TV, but it seems like a very well-made first-person shooter for the PS Vita, like almost up there with the what's it called, Killzone Mercenary. Almost, not quite as good, but getting close. I bought Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate HD for the PS3. That was a mouthful. And that is like a Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirrors of Fate. Said that fast this time. It's a game already released for, I can't remember if it's DS or 3DS. I think it's the 3DS. And yeah, pretty sure it's 3DS. And they made an HD version for that for the PS3. And it runs a little choppy, but it seems fine. And if you play for a bit, you might be able to ignore the choppiness a little bit. Also bought Double Dragon Neon for the PS3. I know you can buy it on PC, but I'd like to play this game on the couch, like with 2 controllers and a body. And you can probably also do that with the PC, but I want it on the PS3. I managed to, another game. House of the Dead 4 for the PS3. This is a game that is only available either on in physical arcades where you go to and have to play it on an arcade machine. I just went into Danish there for a bit. You either have to go to an arcade and play it on a physical arcade machine, or you have to buy it digitally on the PS3 store. So it's one of those games that was going to disappear, and everybody talked a lot about this game. So just bought it. I haven't played it yet. I'm not that crazy about light gun games, but it looks fun. I'm interested to play it one day, maybe stream it one day. And I've tried to stream a little bit lately, so yeah, maybe one day. I also managed to figure out how to buy games from the American store, which was about time, because I've been wanting to do that for years, but I just couldn't get myself into spend those 5 minutes to research how to do it. So I'm glad I did this now and bought a couple of games there. Chrono Trigger for the PS1 is not available in my country for the PlayStation Store, so I bought that on the PS3, and it's very cool because that version has those anime cutscene things, and that seems cool. Also bought the Chrono Cross for PS1, and again, very cool to play that game that has not been released in PAL territories in any version, not remastered or digital as far as I know. Maybe on PC, but I'm not quite sure. Again, another game that has not been released in PAL territory, it's Parasite Eve, the first one. The second one and the, the third birthday, I think that's the PSP game, also in the same franchise. Those has been released in Europe and PAL territories, but not the first game. Like, seriously, why not release the first fucking game? Why release all the others, but not the first one? Anyways, I haven't played any of it yet. People say they're kind of like an RPG version of... or like a Resident Evil game with RPG elements, but I don't know, I haven't played it yet. Also bought Legend of Dragoon for PS1, very cool RPG. Also people say it's one of the best RPGs made that is not made by Square Enix. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that one. The Fireman 2, Pete and Danny for the PS1. This is a Japanese game you can buy on the American PlayStation Store. And despite it being completely in Japanese, like people talk, there's voice acting in it, Japanese voice acting, and the text is Japanese. Despite that, a lot of people recommend this game and say it's an awesome game. So yeah, I bought it. So just to see what the fuss was about, and I really like the graphic style. It is a very cool sprite game, and yeah, awesome. Another game I bought was Rough Trigger, the Vanocore conspiracy. I don't know, Vanocore, is that how you say that? I'm not sure. And yeah, this should be apparently a bad game, but it should be ripping off the Ratchet and Clank play style or franchise, and also just a little bit from the Jak and Daxter. I'm messing up all the words now. And I bought this because I want to play it for a bad game Monday. I probably should test it out to see if it's as bad as people say it is, but it should be really almost like to an embarrassing level a copy of Ratchet and Clank. And I want to play that someday. And yeah, those were all the games I bought, physical and some of the digital ones. And now just gonna talk a little about some of the movies I bought this past couple of months. Alright, where to start? Maybe after the siren is gone? There we go. Alright, where to start? Yeah, I bought quite a few movies. Again, I'm a big movie nerd. So I'm gonna show that off. I bought Dread for Blu-ray. I watched this on Netflix a long time ago. It's not there anymore, at least not on the Danish version of Netflix. And I remember this as being a very cool action movie, and it was a very cool action movie. Definitely better than the Stallone Dread. And I'm hoping for, I'm still like, I know it's been years, but I'm still want a sequel for this. It's a very cool movie. Another movie that I've never heard about, but a co-worker recommended it to me, and I bought it just to see what the fuss was about. And it's the VFW. It's this movie about this old war veterans who have like this bar they hang out at, and they get involved in this this battle or fight against a gang of drug dealers and all the crazy druggies that follow the drug dealers. I can't explain really that well, but it's basically like just a movie where they attack the bar and the old veteran are trying to defend the bar from the attackers. It's a very gory movie, and I like it, but I feel like you could turn down the film grain just a tad. Now I hate film grain in video games. That is like, that should always be able to turn. You should always be able to turn up film grain in video games. But I kind of also wish I could just turn down the film grain just a little bit on this one. It's a little over the top, in my opinion. Also bought Kong Skull Island because I want to get caught up with all the movies for the release of King Kong or Godzilla vs King Kong, or Godzilla vs Kong, what's it called? Whatever. And it has not been released in cinemas in Denmark yet. It's not been released on any streaming services either. But I'm looking forward to watch that one. So I also bought this one to get caught up with my Kong lore, and I missed this one. Also bought a movie, Ravenous. I think this is like a Spanish or Italian version I bought from this. I can't remember where I bought it. But it's because the Blu-ray version is kind of hard to find in an English-speaking country, at least not American. I don't think it's released in UK, as far as I know. If it has, it might just be too expensive. I don't know why. I bought the Italian version for some reason, because it was probably the cheapest one. And it's a very fun movie starring, what's his face? Guy Pearce, where he plays this dude who is a soldier in the Confederate War, perhaps? Some old American soldier war boys, and he gets sent to this base or fort that's far out in no man's land near big forest, and they have to help save some people, perhaps in the forest, after a lunatic or like a raving rabbi or priest or whatever he is gets to the base. It's a fun movie to watch. It has cannibals, it has wendigos, it has it all. I guess that was a spoiler, I'm sorry about that. Next one is a movie I already own on DVD, but I want to get it on VHS, and it is Late Faces, a really awesome werewolf movie. Another one where you starring an old veteran. What's his name? The actor is like a pretty well known in like B horror movies, and why can I not see his name on this damn thing? Let's see. Whatever. Anyways. I'm gonna put his name here or something. He stars as a blind veteran, Vietnam War veteran, and I think it's Vietnam. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And he gets moved to this neighborhood for like where elderly people live, and it's a very slow, boring place. And he's basically just been moved there to wait for him to die or something. But the place gets attacked by werewolves once a month, and he has to start and fight them off. And I know I'm not doing this movie any justice. It's a very awesome movie. I really recommend it. And the dude who plays the blind veteran also plays in this one, Stakeland, which I had never watched before, and I'm happy I got this one. This is probably one of the best vampire movies I've ever watched. I will say the vampires are leaning a little over to zombie territories in this one. And I don't mind that. I prefer vampires when they're a bit more brutal rather than the whole Twilight bullshit vampire. So yeah, really great. If you like The Walking Dead, this is basically like The Walking Dead but with vampires, if that makes sense. And really recommend this. Is his name on here? I think it's Nick Damisi. I could be wrong. Fuck it. Alright, I also bought like, a TV series. Bought this really cheap, and I caught this on TV years ago, back when they were showing it. And it is Harper's Island, and it's this like fun series where they a couple is getting married and they decide to have their wedding on the island where they grew up. And then murders happened. There was apparently a serial killer on that island, and I liked it a lot when I was young and a kid. But I have watched a couple of episodes now. It's not as good as I remember it, but I'm still happy to have it. It was dirt cheap, so cool to have this thing. Yeah, can't really find a lot of people talking about this series, so that is awesome. Another really awesome movie. John dies at the end. Spoiler alert. And this is one of those really weird movies, and I cannot show the back because there are boobs on the back. Fuck it, here's the boobs. I don't care. Age restrict me, YouTube, I dare you. And what can I say about this? It's a couple of friends who get what do I say? They get mixed into some drug stuff. They call the sauce. The drug is called the sauce, and it kind of lets them see this weird world and everything. It's a hard one to explain. I recommend you watch it. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a hard to explain, but it's a good movie. All right. Next one is a movie. I was curious because I watched Unbreakable. I mean, let me just start back. I'm not a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan. He's made like Unbreakable, which I liked. That was a good movie, and he made a lot of shit, like Lady in the Water and The Happening and other movies. I don't like the movies that are well known, like liked, like a Sign or The Sixth Sense. Even those are not like my cup of tea. But I did like Unbreakable. I watched Split and I didn't hate it, and I didn't like it either. But I didn't hate it. And they also made Glass, which was another sequel to both of those movies, like Unbreakable and Split. And again, I didn't hate it. I feel kind of like the same way about this that I do Split. I don't hate it. I don't feel it's amazing or great or anything, but it's not that awful. At least not for M. Night Shyamalan. Let's see. Okay, let's take this one next. Lights Out is like a fun horror movie. It's not like super gore, but I feel like I don't get scared by horror movies, but I feel like very tense at scenes in this one, because the monster or creature or ghost or whatever you can call it, this thing is something that's only visible or can only hurt you when it is dark. So how they play with that in this movie is really awesome. I really like that. It gives these really tense scenes, and again, I feel like the characters in it are a little bland. It isn't like super gory or crazy or super scary, but I do like how tense it feels when the monster is there. So I recommend this one. Don't buy it for like expensive price or anything, but if it's on any streaming service you want to watch it, or like if it's a few bucks, buy it. It's a fun movie. I recommend it. Alright, the movie pile is getting a little crazy over here. There we go, so it doesn't fall down. Then I bought like a movie collection, Horace from the Deep collection, containing Piranha, The Last Jaw, and Tentacle. I haven't watched any of these yet. These looks like amazingly B horror movies with like ocean or sea creature related monsters. And yeah, I haven't watched any of these yet, so I don't have really much to say about it. I'm looking forward to watching them someday. One that I have watched is Tokyo Gore Police. This is such a crazy ass movie. I mean, it's one of those people I kind of want to recommend to people, but I don't want to recommend it to people who knows me because they're gonna think I'm like a weirdo. But it's awesome. It has like crazy monsters. It has a guy who gets his dick cut off and he grows like a gun out of his dick. It has like a girl who has cut off her arms and legs and have to replace them with katanas. A dude who gets cut off his legs, and he hits himself with a syringe, so he can use his bloody legs as almost a jetpack with the blood. Oh yeah, and a guy who has like a bazooka rocket launcher thing, but with decapitated arms instead of rockets. But it's a crazy movie. Fuck it, go watch this one. It's a fucking weird ass time. And I also got like a movie that is kinda, I wouldn't say like super rare, but maybe it's a little rare. I mean, no, it's not that rare. You can find it, but it's a little expensive to find. The Wailing is a movie that people need to watch. It's a Korean movie. And again, I think I would do it injustice if I tried to explain what it's about. Also, I really recommend that people just watch this, going in knowing as little as possible. It's a really well-made movie, and it was longer than I expected. I think it's like 2.5 hours or something like that. And how to explain? It's not super scary, but again, there was like this scene like close to the end, like where I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm never like that in movies. And and you don't know who to trust, and it's really awesome. And I cannot recommend this movie enough. Go watch this if you can, of course. Also bought Into the Mirror, another Korean movie. This was for DVD for like 6 kroner, which is like basically a buck. And yeah, if you know that Mirrors movie with Kiefer Sutherland, I think it is, that was basically based off this one, I think. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't think it's the other way around. I think this one looks older than that one. Yeah, and there's some very key differences in this one. If you watch the Kiefer Sutherland one, he's guarding this mall that has been burnt down. There's also like a guard, and the mall has been burned down, but they're trying to reopening it again, and it looks not burned down. It looks like a new mall, and it's a very interesting movie. I'd also recommend people to watch this one. I think it's at least just as good as the Mirror one. I don't think the Mirror with Kiefer Sutherland is bad, and I think this one is just as good. Not usually when there's like made a remake of a movie or Asian movie, usually the remake is just really sucks a lot compared to the original. But I think in this case they are both equally good in their own way. So yeah. What else? I also got Sirens. About this is like a horror comedy about like a bunch of office people who works at like a weapon company or something like that design new weapons and shit, goes to a field trip in the dark side of Europe or something like that, and they end up in a forest where they like killed and done a lot of horrible shit too. And it's a comedy of sorts also. So yeah, it's an alright movie. It's not amazing, it's alright. I also bought this box here, but only because there was like one movie in it I wanted. It's a 3-movie box, including, The Exam, which I haven't watched yet. I don't know what it's about. And, this one was that one, House of the Rising Sun with Batista. And this one, the movie that I actually wanted, Outlander. It was just cheaper to get this box with 3 movies than to buy this one by itself. So I got the box, of course. And it's this kind of like sci-fi dude from another planet who gets sent to Earth back in the Viking Age, and he has to fight off this monster alien thing he takes with him, but it all takes place in this Viking Age sort of place, and it's a good fun popcorn flick. It's not like an amazing thing. I was kind of in a like Viking mood after I watched the Viking series for some time, and looked up Viking movies. It's not if you're like a big fan of Vikings and Vikings in general, I don't think this is the one you need to watch, but it's a fun one. And let's just pack this one away. Also, if you like remember the last pickups video I did, I talked about how I got the Nightmare on Elm Street box with all the Freddy Krueger movies, and it didn't include this one, Freddy vs. Jason, and I feel like this movie gets a lot of shit compared to what it deserves. It deserves some shit, of course, but whenever Freddy and Jason is on it, it's like fucking awesome. It's just the people I hate in this movie. And the Blu-ray looks good, especially the fight between Jason and Freddy Krueger. So yeah, I recommend this one, sort of recommend it. I feel like Jason is the best he has ever been in this one. Compared, but then again, I'm not a big fan of the Friday the 13th movie. But yeah, Jason looks awesome in it, and fucking badass fight scene between those guys. I also got Troll Hunters, or Trollejern, as this is the Danish title. It's a Norwegian movie, like found footage movie with this camera crew who is following this hunter guy. They think there is a poaching bears or something like that, but it turns out he's from the government, hunting down trolls and keeping keeping them in check and inside their reservations and stuff. And it's a really fun movie. It's a fun found footage. I usually don't like found footage movie, but this one is really good. I really recommend it. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Another movie I also really like, and it is Splinter. Again, this is a very low budget movie, but it has a lot of like body horror. If you're a fan of something like The Thing, I think you're also gonna like this one. And yeah, I don't think I can say much more about this one. There's some really gnarly things happening in it with about this creature that has splinters, and yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, also bought another movie, but I rented it out for a coworker, so I'm just gonna, and it is Deathgasm, yay! Deathgasm is like also what you call it, a horror comedy thing, and I really recommend it. It has this heavy metal spin on it. Really awesome, I think. So yeah, also watch that one. Another one you don't need to watch is Rage the Rage, it's called. It's about this doctor who makes like zombies. And it's bad. It's bad. I bought it because I saw what's his name. I cannot remember what his name is. Andrew Divorf, who played the Djinn in the Wishmaster movies. He is like I love the Wishmaster. And I love his character in that and his voice in general. I saw that he was in it and I was like, fuck, I gotta try to watch this. And it's so fucking bad. Don't recommend this one. Alright. And I also bought Brazil, which is this weird sci-fi movie I hear a lot of people has recommended. And I haven't watched it yet. On the back it says it's a mix of Matrix and Metropolis. And yeah, it looks cool, and now I have the Blu-ray version of that, so yeah, one day I'm gonna watch it, but not just yet. And I think I'm gonna end this one off with like the last 3 movies, just to talk about a bit. Yeah, the first one is The Endless. The Endless, right, yeah. I watched this on Netflix a couple of years back, and it's of course now it's not on Netflix anymore, so I wanted to rewatch it, so I bought the Blu-ray version of it, and I really enjoyed it, even more rewatching it rather than I did the first time. So that was really awesome, and I went in and I read a little bit more about this movie, and I figured out that it was a sequel to this one, Resolution. I got the DVD version. I don't think there's a Blu-ray version, but they're a little hard to come by, and I just really wanted to watch this, and I was really impressed with this one. It takes place before this one. They are not like complete. They take place in the same area and very close to each other in the timeline, or so it's hard to explain. There are a couple of hard movies to explain. They do a lot of weird shit, but this one is really awesome. I think I like it just as much, if not even a little bit more than The Endless. I was really impressed by that. It's shoestring budget movie, but still made really fucking awesome. It's about this dude who goes to his friend who started to live in the woods. He's a junkie, and he's trying to get his friend clean of that. And while he's doing that, a lot of weird shit starts happening, and it's kind of related to what happened in this one. And yeah, again, I don't want to spoil too much of it. I just recommend you both to watch this one. And they're made by like this writer-director team, if I can remember what they are called. Moorhead and Benson. Aaron, I can remember. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, they're called. They make like this really crazy movie, and after I watched those, I also went in and bought like this one, another movie they made called Spring. It's also very good, also very interesting. Again, a very low budget movie, but I didn't like it so much as I did the others. I expected to like this a bit more, but it's still a good movie, don't get me wrong. It's about this dude who lives in Britain, I think, and gets into, maybe it's America. I think it's America. who gets into a fight. I cannot remember that. He gets into a bar fight, and the police start looking for him. So he just goes to Italy because he always wanted to go or something like that. And he meets a girl who he falls in love with, and a lot of shit starts happening. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. And I do recommend it. It's just not as good as the other ones. So yeah. And that was it for my recent pickups. I am getting sore in my throat. Holy crap. And there we have it, all the games and movies I bought for March and April, and damn, it's a big pile. Of course, there's also the games I bought digitally, but I can't hold them out, of course. And yeah, I think I did get a pretty good haul. I'm very happy to get another Dragon Quest game. It's always a great day when I get a Dragon Quest game I don't own, or a version of it that I don't own, so really awesome. Also got a couple of cool movies. The Wailing, I was really happy to get. And John dies at the end. Also really awesome movie. What else? I got so much stuff. But yeah, this was what I got. And if you've been sticking through the bad English, you're a real hero. Thanks for watching and take care.